Hey everyone, and welcome to The Explainer. So, you're an international student starting your vocational training, your Ausbildung in Germany. Awesome. But you might be running into a communication style that feels, well, a little intense. Today, we're going to crack the code on German directness so you can absolutely thrive in your new role. Let's get right into it. Das ist falsch. Oof. Hearing that for the first time, especially from a supervisor, it can honestly feel like you've just walked face first into a brick wall. It's so blunt, so direct, and it can leave you completely spinning, wondering, what on earth did I do wrong?
So what's the deal? Is it just plain rude? Or is there something else going on here? This is a huge point of confusion for so many people, and the answer you'll see has everything to do with a totally different cultural playbook for communication. All right, let's start by digging into what I call the directness shock. We're going to look at the cultural logic behind this style, because trust me, once you understand the why, the what they're saying starts to make a whole lot more sense.
Okay, so here's the absolute core idea you need to grasp. German directness isn't about being impolite, not at all. It's a system that's actually designed for maximum clarity and efficiency. The goal is to be honest, respect everyone's time, and most importantly, prevent any misunderstandings down the line. It's a tool, not a weapon.
And this is where we really have to flip the script in our own minds. From a German professional perspective, being direct is a form of respect. You know what's actually considered rude? Wasting someone's time with small talk when there's work to do, or being insincere and not saying what you really mean. So that blunt comment you got, it was likely intended as a sign that they respect you enough to be honest.
And here is where that communication gap just becomes crystal clear. Let's say your supervisor says, "Das ist kompletter Unsinn." Whoa. You might hear, "You are stupid and your idea is worthless." But what they almost certainly mean is, this idea has some critical flaws, and from a practical standpoint, it isn't going to work. See the difference? They are attacking the idea, not you as a person. That separation is everything.
Okay, so that's the why, we get it, but now for the practical stuff. How do you actually survive and thrive with this style in your day-to-day work, especially during your training? Well, this is your official workplace playbook.
First up, meetings. Think of German meetings as machines built for pure efficiency. The agenda isn't just a suggestion, it is the law. Points are made directly, no sugarcoating, and the focus is always on facts and data, not on personal feelings. The goal is simple: find a solution and move on. So if you're in one of these meetings and you hear someone say, "Das macht keinen Sinn," try not to flinch. It's totally normal. Again, this is not an attack on your intelligence. It's a direct challenge to the logic of a proposal. It's really an invitation to either defend your idea with better facts or for the group to pivot to a solution that does make sense.
And this is so important to remember. In the German professional world, feedback is a tool, not an attack. Getting clear, critical, specific feedback is a gift. It's a sign that your supervisor is actually invested in your growth. Vague, super polite feedback, that's seen as completely unhelpful. They're giving you a roadmap to get better.
So what do you do when you're on the receiving end of that direct feedback? Okay, don't panic. Just follow these 4 steps. 1, just listen, breathe, don't get defensive. 2, if it's not clear, ask for specific examples. 3, thank them. Seriously, it shows you value their input. And 4, state exactly how you plan to implement the improvements. It's professional, it's proactive, and it ends the conversation on a high note. Now, this whole directness thing, it doesn't just stop at the office door. Oh no. It also plays a huge role in social interactions, especially when it comes to the power of saying no. In a lot of cultures, right, we're taught to soften a no. We say things like, "Oh, maybe. I'll see if I have time." In Germany, a direct Nein, das geht nicht, no, that's not possible, is considered the most respectful answer. Why? Because it's clear, it's honest, and it doesn't waste the other person's time with false hope.
So you're probably wondering, how do I go from being shocked by all this to actually mastering it myself? Well, it's definitely a journey, but here's a pretty clear path you can follow to get there.
Here's a super practical exercise you can start doing like today. Look at your own language and try to cut out these softener words. You know, words like maybe, perhaps, or I kind of think. Instead of saying, "I think this might be a good idea," try saying, "This is a good idea because." It's a small change that makes you sound way more clear and confident. And please, remember, this does not happen overnight. In your first couple of months, just be a sponge, observe, listen. Then slowly start to participate with simple, direct statements. After a while, you'll start to feel more comfortable,
And eventually, you'll get to a point where you can switch between communication styles without even thinking about it. It's a marathon, not a sprint.
And why should you even bother with all this effort? Because learning to be direct is a career superpower, truly. Your colleagues will trust you because they know where you stand. You'll become a much more efficient problem solver. And frankly, it demonstrates huge leadership potential. This is a skill that will pay off for the rest of your career.
Let's end with a German proverb that just sums it all up perfectly. Klare Worte schaffen klare Verhältnisse. Clear words create clear relationships. At the end of the day, directness isn't about being harsh. It's about building a foundation of absolute clarity and trust. So the next time you hear a blunt comment, ask yourself, what are you really hearing? An insult or an invitation to build a stronger, clearer, more honest professional relationship?